Namaste and welcome to the Sunday morning session. Today we're going to be looking at verse 4 of the 37 practices, and this is about really impermanence, attachment, letting go, stopping our suffering. But before we do that, then let's do 10 minutes breathing awareness meditation. So sit comfortably and lightly close your eyes. And we'll begin by doing the 5, 6, 7 breath. So breathe in slowly and deeply through your nose and hold the breath. And breathe the air out through your mouth. Breathe in and hold. And breathe out. Breathe in, hold, and breathe out. And now just breathe normally. And just become aware that you're breathing in and breathing out. And just leave your awareness on that. So continue to watch your breath. So now just very slowly start to open your eyes, but just look down on the floor in front of you for a moment, just to bring yourselves back into your room. And when you're ready, you can just slowly move your head up. So today we're going to be looking at verse 4 of the 37 practices. So in verse 4, it talks about impermanence and attachment. So it warns us not to get too involved in family, in friends, possessions, wealth, and status and identity. Because by getting involved in all of those things, we're causing ourselves, or we will cause ourselves, a lot of suffering. Because on one hand, they're impermanent, all of those things, your family, your friends, your wealth, your possession, and your identity or status are all impermanent. So if we become attached to them, then the next stage, when they die or they break or they change, which they inevitably will, we cause ourselves suffering. So the verse is trying to tell us not to get so involved in these things. So if you are a yogi, a guru or monk or something, you can give up all these things really. But as a person who has responsibility and you live in the householder's life, the outside world, then of course we can't give up completely. But we can start to loosen our grip. And this is where, doing analytical meditation like we're doing today will help us to see, how can I loosen that grip? How can I let go? So the impermanence we're talking about here is really the negative impermanence. There is a positive side to impermanence. You wake up in the morning, you have a headache, then later on in the day it's gone. That's positive impermanence. You are going through really difficult times and then those difficult times end. Impermanence. Look at now, the coronavirus. We're in lockdown. It will end because of impermanence. So there is a positive side to impermanence. But of course, there's that negative side that we don't like. Letting go of family, letting go of friends, losing possessions, losing our status, losing our wealth. All of these we see as negative because we're holding on too tightly to them. So if we're not holding on tightly, if we understand that they are impermanent and they will change, so let me just enjoy them while they're here now, then when they change, I may feel a little sad, but I'm not so attached to them that, my whole world starts to collapse and I start to, bring on a huge amount of emotional suffering. That emotional suffering comes about because we're holding on too tightly. So just loosen that grip a little bit. I mean, I'm not telling you to let go and walk away from family and friends and wealth and possessions. I'm just saying to you, let go a little bit. And just as you let go, you can relax. You can still enjoy the family, the friends, the wealth at the moment, your possessions at the moment will still be there. So enjoy them. We can't fully enjoy them when we're holding on so tightly to them. And people think if I start to let go, then I become detached. I'm not talking about detachment. That's something completely different. What I'm talking about is just letting go a little bit, just loosening your grip, just so you can enjoy them while they're here, but you understand impermanence. and so they won't last. So while they're here, let me really enjoy them. But I know when they've gone, they've gone. You know, there are many people now during this coronavirus that are suffering because the world has changed. The world is also impermanent. It has changed. So the people that were holding on to their lifestyle, holding on to everything, to do with their life, they will suffer more. The people that are not holding on and just think, okay, the world has changed. Okay, it's changed. So now it's this. So let's make the most of this. Then there's less suffering. But if you're going to hold on, oh, it used to be like this, oh, it used to be like that, then that's only going to bring you suffering. So the analytical meditation we're going to look at, we'll break it down into family and friends and wealth, possessions, and then your identity. So we'll go down in this order. So I want you, first of all, when I talk about these subjects, I want you to think, first of all, are you too involved? Are you too attached? First of all, get that straight in your mind. So if we're talking about family, are you too involved with the family? Are you too attached to the family? If the answer is yes, then we need to find ways of just loosening that grip. And because when we can loosen that grip and not get involved in every little aspect of the family, then it gives us more time to practice. Because at the time of death, having a huge family is not going to help you. What will help you is all the practice you've done before you reach death. When you reach death, you don't want to get there with a whole load of regrets and a big lot of family and friends all around your deathbed crying and saying, don't go, don't go. You don't want to be in that position. It's much better to get to a point where you are relaxed, where you are calm and it's okay. I've had a good life. I've done the best I can. Now my time has come. I let go. And then it's much nicer to let go like that. You'll still have your family and friends crying around you, but because you are just able and calm and ready to go, then they won't disturb you. But if you're full of regret, then they will. So, first of all, we're going to look at asking ourselves, are we too involved? Are we too attached to these categories? And then if we are, then is there a way for us to loosen our grip? One, so we don't get hurt and suffer when it changes. And two, that it gives us more time to do our practice. So sit comfortably again and lightly close your eyes. And just for a moment, just focus on your breath, just to give you a chance to settle down and get centered again. So let's start by looking at family. Just ask yourself this question and answer truthfully to yourself. Are you too involved and too attached to your family? And now analyze, is there a way for you to loosen your grip so when things change, you don't suffer? And by loosening your grip, you'll have more time to do practice. So think about it. Is there a way for you to just loosen your grip on your attachment to your family? What would it feel like if you started to loosen your grip on your family? If you loosened your grip, would it give you more time to practice and less suffering? And now let's look at friends. Are you too involved and attached to your friends? Is there a way for you to loosen that grip you have on your friends? What would it feel like if you loosened your grip on your friends? Would it give you more time to practice and less suffering? Now let's look at possessions. Are you too attached to your possessions? If you're not sure, just think about losing your prized possession. And if that thought makes you suffer, then you're attached. So is there a way for you to loosen your grip on your possessions? If you loosened your grip, do you think it would bring you less suffering? And now let's look at wealth. Are you too attached to your bank balance? Again, if you're unsure, just think about losing all your money. Would that make you suffer? Is there a way for you to loosen your grip on your bank balance? And if you did loosen your grip on your bank balance, do you think it would bring you less suffering? And now let's look at our status and our identity. Are you too attached and too involved in your status and your identity? Is there a way for you to loosen your grip on this attachment to who you think you are, your identity? And if you did loosen your grip on your identity, do you think it would reduce your suffering? The final thing I want you to contemplate today is this: that on your deathbed, your family and friends cannot help you and cannot go with you. Your possessions and wealth cannot help you and go with you. Your status and identity at the time of death ceases to be. So instead of focusing in and getting attached to these things, it would be better for us to spend more time practicing, because at death, practice is the only thing that will help us. Just contemplate that for a moment. So now just very slowly start to open your eyes and look down on the floor in front of you. And when you're ready, you can slowly start to move your head up. There's a lot of food for thought there. So I just planted these seeds. So I want you to think about these points. You know, when you have time, when you do your next meditation practice, or when you're just quietly sitting, contemplating, just think about these points. The more you hold on like this, the more you suffer. The more you start to just let go, the less you suffer. And just remember all these things that we believe to be so important: family, friends, possessions, wealth, identity. None of those can help us at the time of death. It is only our practice that is going to help us. When we practice, we become calm, we understand impermanence, we understand attachment and death and cause and effect. All of these things are going to help you at the time of death. All those other things that we're attached to will not help you. So there's a lot to think about there. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next Sunday. So until then, namaste.